Alright, hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I wanted to do a second episode in the Games I Bought Recently series. I got quite a few games over the last couple of weeks or so. Some of them were Christmas gifts, some of them were extra Black Friday pickups, and a lot of them were um, pickups that I got from GameStop over the last couple of weeks. They've had quite a few different really good sales. So I figured I'd just kind of show them off and it's actually quite a bit more than what I had in the first games I bought recently video, so let's go ahead and get into it. So this first one is actually a Christmas gift I picked up for myself, Far Cry 6. I haven't played it yet, it's still sealed, but I got it for like $25 on Amazon, and I know this game just came out earlier this year, so I was actually pretty surprised to see it discounted that much. But I was excited to get this, and really the only Far Cry game that I've played is Far Cry 4, and I played a lot of that back in the day, so I was really happy to pick this up, especially with Giancarlo Esposito. I think I said his name right, and just excited to see his performance. I love him as an actor, and yeah, really looking forward to this game. All right, up next is a cheaper game that I got from GameStop, Killzone Shadowfall. I think I played like the opening hour of the game, and I thought it was all right. So I figured I'd pick it up. I played it, back when I first got the PlayStation, the PS4, earlier back in 2020. I had picked that up, and I got PS Now, so this was on the service. So I played it for like the first hour. I thought it was all right, but just other games came out, and I never really got into it. So excited to pick this up, and I was excited actually that the same people that made this game are the same people that are behind Horizon Zero Dawn. So I'm excited to see what they have done. I think it might actually be the same people that did all of the previous Killzone games as well. So can't be that different. But I'm excited just to experience this game through the lens of what they did with Horizon, because Horizon is just a phenomenal game. So very excited to get that. Up next is Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Haven't played it yet, but I'm excited to get this. I was a huge fan of Ghost Recon, specifically the Advanced Warfighter series. I think for some people it's like a love it or hate it thing, but I loved Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter, the first one particularly on the 360. That was just a phenomenal game. That was I loved that. Just the feel and the literally like 2 or 3 bullets and you're dead basically. So I loved really being very tactical mindset oriented with with just kind of positioning your character what they needed to go and that sort of thing. So I'm excited to get this game and see what all this has to entail, which will be actually really interesting because this is one of the internet required games. So while my PS4 is hooked up to Wi-Fi, I don't have PlayStation Plus, and so I'm excited to, not really excited, but I'm interested to see how that's going to play out with this game, because from what I hear, there are single player elements of the game. You just still have to be connected to the internet, which I'm not really sure why they did that, but I'll see how it goes, and always do an update video if this game is, kind of worth that amount of time. But even if I only play it for like 5 minutes, I think I at least got my money's worth, because that was part of a buy 3 get 2 free sale or something like that. So it was one of GameStop's recent sales where that game was basically free for me. Up next is Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm really looking forward to this because I only ever played the first one, and I really enjoyed the first one. Never got into the second one for whatever reason. Yeah, but 3 I'm excited to play, especially just kind of looking at it. It has Monsters Inc. in there, it has Olaf, it looks like, and so it'll be interesting, Pirates of the Caribbean, so it'll be interesting to see how those different characters interact, yeah, really looking forward to that. Up next is a game that I'm really enjoying, and I might even do like a review video or something on it, but that is Final Fantasy VII, the remake. Believe it or not, this is the first time that I've ever played a Final Fantasy game, or a Final Fantasy VII, either the original or the remake. I think the remake's been out for a little over a year now, about a year and a half. And yeah, this is the first time I'm ever experiencing the game, and I gotta say, the opening is amazing. That's probably my favorite opening in any video game. That's not even underselling it, and over, um, whatever. I'm at a loss for words, but I love this game. It's a lot of fun, and the style of the game is really interesting, and so it's such a good game that it actually makes me want to go back and play the original on the PS1. And I know that this is like part one of, maybe two or three parts. So I know that there's probably some story padding or something, because I know that the PS1 game couldn't have been that massive for PS1 standards to be able to just, for us to kind of only have the opening section or something like that of this game. So I would imagine that there's some extra story padding elements in this just to kind of draw out the playtime. But so far, I'm really loving it. I'm on chapter 4 of 18, I think. So I'm just a couple hours into the game here, but really, really enjoying it. Up next is Resident Evil 3. In the last video, I got Resident Evil Village, and I was really looking forward to having that. So yeah, Resident Evil 3. Very happy to have this, and if it's anything like Resident Evil 2 was, Resident Evil 2 is still to this day, the remake is my favorite Resident Evil game, period. So if Resident Evil 3 is anything like that, I'm sure I'll have a lot of fun with it. From what I've heard, it's quite a bit shorter than Resident Evil 2, but in any event, I'm perfectly fine with that. I mean, I'm a dad of 2 kids, and so I really only have, just a couple hours at the end of the night to be able to play games. So, if the story's good enough and if it draws me in for, even just a couple of hours, then that's fine. To me, I got my money's worth out of it. So, excited to get this, and I will be sure to leave some impressions in another video. Up next is Monkey King Hero is Back. I honestly don't know anything about this game. I know that it's recommended by quite a few people, and that it's a pretty cool kind of action platformer. But besides that, all that I know is that it's pretty good. And I honestly wouldn't have picked this up had it not been for recommendations of a lot of people online and everything. So looking forward to this. I know that there was a newer Monkey King that came out, unless this is the actual newer one. 2019. No, I think there was a newer one that came out in 2021 or in 2020. So yeah, I'm excited to try this game out, and I will I'll be sure to try to leave some impressions in another video on it. Up next is Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom. This is kind of like a love it or hate it game for a lot of people. I still haven't played this one yet because as you'll see, I have a lot of games here that I've recently bought and just haven't had the time to actually go through and play them all. And a lot of that is kind of taken up of my time between Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy 15 that I'm currently playing, and some other ones that I'll get into a little bit later on. But Ni no Kuni 2, I've heard great things about the first one, which I still haven't played, but I'm looking forward to getting the remastered version of it, if I can, find it at a cheap enough price, or if GameStop happens to have it. But I did see this one, and it was pretty much free as well in one of the GameStop deals, so figured I'd pick this up, and if anything, I might just wait until I get the first one, play that, and then come back and play this. That way I can just have a proper kind of first impression of it. Especially if there's anything in here that kind of carries through from the first game. So, looking forward to playing this. This next one, I'm not sure if I mentioned it in another video, but I'll just go ahead and mention it here. Uncharted 4, phenomenal game. I played it, when I did have PlayStation Plus, I did get the game for free when it was available, one of the months, and I did beat it, and I loved it. I thought it was a phenomenal game. I actually did the walkthrough of the first Uncharted game. That was actually the very first game that I played on my channel here, so if you want to check that out, go ahead and click into one of the other videos. I might have that linked somewhere here, but Uncharted 4 is one of those games that if you want to show off what the PlayStation 4 can do, this is one of those games. I mean, the graphics are breathtaking. Not even just when he's standing at the edge of a cliff looking out at a vista. You know, even just, you know, like the nighttime shots when he's in one of the nighttime levels and it's kind of a darker area, or just when he's indoors or whatever. It's a really, really fun game and really amazing story and really good send off for the character of Nathan Drake. At least for the time being. I feel like if they bring him back in an Uncharted 5 or something later on, it'd be really weird. They'd have to have a really solid reason to bring him back, especially with the kind of ending that they did. But yeah, I'm very much very pleased with this game, so much so that I just wanted to pick it up for the physical version of it. Up next is Assassin's Creed. I don't know, I said it like that. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I haven't played it yet, still. This is kind of going to be a trend throughout the video here. But I am looking forward to playing this because I think that the last Assassin's Creed game that I played, that I really played, was Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. And so I did play quite a bit of that because that was one of the games that came with my Xbox One when I first got it a couple years back. And I did play a fair bit of that, good couple of hours into that. But the only game that I actually played and beat through and really enjoyed was the first Assassin's Creed. And so I am looking forward to playing this. I know that the world is massive in this one, and I'm excited to see, like, with kind of a Viking vibe in Valhalla, but with the Assassin's Creed spin on it. So yeah, pretty interesting to see, what that'll kind of pan out. And a lot of these newer games like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry 6, some other ones that are here, they do come with a PS5 upgrade. And so if I ever do, upgrade to a PS5, I'll at least have a lot of these kind of newer PS4 games be able to, be up on the PS5 version if I ever do upgrade to that. So very happy with that. Up next, I don't believe I mentioned it in the last video, Devil May Cry 5. I'm actually a pretty big fan of Devil May Cry, but I've only ever played one Devil May Cry game, and I don't remember if that's the first one or the third one. I know it wasn't the second one, and it certainly wasn't the fourth one. But the fifth one, I'm excited to get, and from what I hear, you don't really need to have played the previous games to jump into this game. So I'm looking forward to getting into the really fun hack and slash just vibes of the game. It's back when I played whether it was the first one or the third one, I don't remember. But back when I played one of those, I just had a lot of fun. It was one of those games that I can just throw in the Xbox or the PlayStation, and just have a lot of fun with it, and just have a blast, and just not really have to think about the story too deep or whatever. It was a lot of fun to just play the game, pop it in. If I only have an hour or whatever of free time, I can just kind of just jump into a fun game and then call it a day, basically. Up next is one that quite a few people have, I'm sure. Grand Theft Auto 5. I did have this game at one point when I had the Xbox One, and the opening was actually really interesting. It was a very interesting opening because I had already kind of been spoiled. By the time I got the game, I kind of been spoiled with the ending of Grand Theft Auto 5, and so when I played the beginning of it, I was very confused at kind of what happened with with him being killed and everything, supposedly killed. And so yeah, I did have a lot of fun playing this game back on the Xbox One. That I wanted to pick it up on the PS4 since this is pretty much my only copy of the game right now. So I am excited to eventually get back into this, but for now I'm just happy to have it back in the collection. Up next is another game I haven't played, but I am very happy to get it, and that is Bloodborne. A lot like the Dark Souls, Demon Souls kind of games, but this one's a little bit more action-oriented from what I hear. And so I am, looking forward to getting into a very challenging game, but for it to be a little bit more faster paced and just a bit more fun there. So I am looking forward to eventually diving into this. Probably once I finish, one of the Final Fantasies or whatever of the 5 different games I'm in the middle of playing right now. Up next is so a couple of these games, actually the next 3 games here, I got from GameStop. They're, one of their deals that they had. But they didn't come with all that they came with was the disc. And so that's kind of the danger of, at least for a kind of a collector like myself, that likes to kind of collect the games and have the full package of the original disc, or the original case, the original artwork, the original manual if it comes with one. The GameStop just didn't have the full copies of this game, of the next 3 games here. So I'll just kind of breeze through it real quick. But Spider-Man on the PS4, phenomenal game. I mean, there's not really anything you can say about it. But yeah, this was one of the games that, despite the $20 sticker there, I got this pretty much for free in one of the deals. So great game, and happy to have it in the collection here. I did print out my own cover art, and so that's why some of you might get confused seeing like the black case but kind of cover art here. But as you can see, it's from like a PAL region. It's the only one that I was able to find online, but I just kind of printed out my own cover art, so at least it kind of looked a little bit better. Up next is Persona 5, with like a custom cover art that I printed out. And so excited to play this game. I've never played a Persona game before, but from what I hear, Persona 5 is just one of the JRPGs to end all JRPGs. For some people, they've put in hundreds of hours of their life into Persona 5, so I am looking forward to playing this big time. I'll probably get into this before I get into Bloodborne, to be honest. And then the last GameStop game that didn't have a case is Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. But kind of the plus side to it is I bought Metal Gear Solid 5, and inside they put the Definitive Edition. So this actually was 2 games in one. Came with the Phantom Pain and Ground Zero, so I am excited to have that. And as you can see here, I printed out the cover art again. Up next is a game that a lot of people actually don't seem to know about, and I am having a blast playing this game. And that is Nexomon Extinction. Basically, it's to call it a Pokemon clone is, I feel like it's kind of shortchanging it, because it's, it's a really fun game, and it's actually a bit more detailed, and goes in depth from a Pokemon. Just for example, in Pokemon you have, your power points, your PP for each move. And so basically you can use up your moves, regardless of, you can just basically breeze through using all the moves, and then if you run out of PP in one move, just move on to the next move. And then, basically there's nothing really stopping you from using your moves. And then you can always pop an ether or whatever to be able to regain your PP, so you can use those moves again. But in this game, there's actually a stamina system built in, so your moves actually use stamina, and you only have a certain amount of stamina within the battle. And so, and then of course you can pop an ether to regain your stamina, but the way that it's actually integrated is actually pretty cool, in that, you have to kind of worry about the stamina of your Nexomon. And then also, even just the simple act of catching a Nexomon, there's like a quick time button prompt that kind of pops up that's actually really interesting, that makes it a little bit more of, more interesting than just your, I see a Nexomon out in the wild, drop its health down really low, throw a ball, and I'm sure I'll catch it. Because you also have to get the button prompts in the right order, in the right amount of time, and they only give you like 4 or 5 seconds to be able to do that. So it is a really fun game. For those of you that have played it, I just beat the first Tyrant, the Ice Tyrant, at the Frozen Lake, and so and the lore in this is actually very interesting. It's a very lore-heavy game, to where it actually really sets up a whole story and sets up a whole back history, and you're just a character who is seemingly special, but you're just a character that's kind of brought into the story. And so whereas with Pokemon, there's not really that much of a story to it, besides just beat the 8 gym leaders, go to the Elite Four, beat them, and beat the champion, and then now you become the champion. And so it's basically been the theme of every single Pokemon generation except for Sun and Moon. But yeah, so I'm very happy to have this game, and if you have not tried it, and if you were ever a fan of Pokemon, even if you're not like a diehard fan of Pokemon today, I would still highly recommend that you get this game, because this is actually a lot of fun. definitely, trust me. Up next is Sonic Colors Ultimate. This was another one of the ones that I picked up for free. Believe it or not, I've actually never really sat down and played a Sonic game, nor have I ever owned one. And so, I've maybe played it, like an arcade version of it for 5-10 minutes or something like that, but never like an actual, console normal kind of experience and kind of setting. So I am happy to, try out Sonic Colors. From what I hear, it's actually a pretty good Sonic game, one of the better ones in the last couple of years. So I am excited to try this out. And I know the original one, Sonic Colors, was on the Wii, and I did actually just pick up a Wii for my son, and he's actually loving it. This is actually his first game system, so we're having a lot of fun playing that. But I wanted to pick it up on the PS4 just because it was an updated, graphically enhanced version of the game. So looking forward to playing this eventually when I get to it. Up next is actually something that I've been really looking forward to, and I don't know why. One day I just woke up and really, really wanted to get this game, and that's Resident Evil Origins Collection. So it comes with Resident Evil 0 and the original Resident Evil. Both of them are HD sort of remasters. Yeah, that's remasters, because they're not actual remakes. But so I'm very happy to get this. Resident Evil 0 I actually really enjoyed when I played it back on the GameCube. That was a lot of fun. And Resident Evil, the original one, I've actually never played the first Resident Evil. Actually past the opening when they get into the mansion. I think I saw like the original cutscene, but I never actually played the game. So I did see that opening cinematic, but never actually played the game. So I am actually excited to get into basically the earliest two Resident Evil entries into the series. So definitely looking forward to this. And I think, and actually one thing I will say is I did get a virtual copy or a digital copy of I forget what it was called, but it was basically, I got Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6, the digital versions for like $18 on sale or something like that. And so basically, if I understand it, basically I have every Resident Evil game except for the Revelations and Code Veronica, and maybe a couple of other small offshoots. But yeah, so a lot of the I guess main entries into the series, and I know Resident Evil 0 is kind of a offshoot as well, but a lot of the main entries into the series I did pick up, so I am actually very happy to have those all into my collection, whether it's physical or digital. So I am really excited about that. Up next is a game that I was actually really surprised to see discounted so cheap, given the great reviews it's gotten this past year, and that's Guardians of the Galaxy on the PS4. Really looking forward to playing this. I haven't played it yet, it's still sealed. But yeah, I was actually very skeptical on this game because it felt like it was a lot like James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy, but kind of the generic version of all the characters. But from the clips that I've seen online and the reviews that I've seen, it seems to be a very, very good game. And so I am really looking forward to this. It seems to be the most surprising hit of 2021, from what I understand. So I'm excited to play that. Up next is another Christmas gift that I got from some family members, actually from my mother-in-law, and that is The Last of Us Part 2. The Last of Us, the original one, I played through probably 4 or 5 times, just 100% through. And I loved that game. That's probably my favorite game on the PS3. And so I'm very excited to get into this game. I already know about the big spoiler that happens pretty early on in the game. But besides that, I am still pretty excited about that. And it's one of those spoilers that once you know that spoiler, it almost kind of detracts from the whole experience of the game, because the way it's set up is, you kind of get into the game expecting more of the same of what you got in the first game, but just maybe with different locations, maybe new types of infected and things like that. And I don't know, maybe there are drastically different new locations. Maybe there's new types of infected that just weren't in the first one. Maybe all of that is true. But I know, at least for myself, when I was looking forward to this game, I was basically just looking forward to more of the same, and that's really what I wanted. But then when I was basically spoiled about what happens, um, that basically that stopped me from wanting to get the game for the longest time. And so I'm actually looking forward to getting into this game, actually experiencing it, because um, it's highly rated for the gameplay. Whether you like the story or not, and the risk that they took with it, the gameplay has won lots of awards and top awards and things like that. So I am very much looking forward to playing this eventually, and I'm not really in a rush to get into it since I already know the biggest thing about it and what's kind of the driving factor of the point of the story past the spoiler. So I'm not really in a huge rush to play it, but eventually I will definitely play it and I will enjoy it a lot. And then this last game is actually something that's really special to me because it's a game that I picked up for my son, and it's actually the first video game that he's ever played. And he was phenomenal with the controller, and I was actually very surprised. And that is Lego Marvel Collection. And so far, all we've played is the Lego Avengers game, but he just blew me away with his just ability to control the character, fight the bad guys, press the button to hit the switch or whatever. And so I was really blown away by that. So much so that it made these games more than just a Lego game. Made it a bit of a bonding experience with him. So I'm really, really happy to actually have this game, play this game with him and everything. Now that he has his Wii, we've just been kind of playing more of that, not so much of this, but whenever he's ready to come back to it, it will definitely be here. And I'm sure we'll eventually get through all three of the games that are on here. So that'll basically do it for today's episode. I really appreciate you guys watching. Yeah, if you have any thoughts on any of these games that I've picked up, I mean, it's quite a bit. If you have any thoughts on any of these games, if any of you have picked these games up and you enjoy them as well, please be sure to leave a comment. Let me know what games we might both have, and let me know your thoughts on any of these games. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.